atrocities that have been committed in the past. We know, Lord, that the bloods that have been spilled in this land are crying to you for justice, as the blood of Abel did cry to you for justice. Gracious and eternal Father, we ask that your healing power will heal the wounds of all those families that have been offended, that you will grant reconciliation, and you will also make the provision for reparations, and that, Lord, your justice will also fall down. We continue to pray that as a nation, that we will look up to you and be reconciled to one another, so that we will forge ahead for the common good of all that live in this land. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, my Bishop Predicor, for that. Council, are we ready for to get them a witness for today?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning to you all. Yes, we are ready. The witness is waiting in the witness room. Mr. Osser, could you kindly bring him in, please?
Do swear that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Good morning, sir.
Are you able to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your willingness to appear before the TRRC. You have just taken the oath to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And may I just take this opportunity to also remind that it is a criminal offense to state falsehood before the TRRC. And it's also a criminal offense, of course, under the laws of the Gambia, to make a false statement while under oath. I just flag this so that we can bear that in mind as we progress.
Thank you, Council. I'm very much aware of that.
Thank you very much, sir. Kindly tell us your full names, please.
My names are Modu Lamin Ba.
Mr. Ba, where were you born?
I was born in a village called Bureng in Jara, LRR.
What would LRR stand for?
Lower River Region.
And where did you do primary education?
Primary school.
Do you recall which year you attended Bureng Primary School?
From 1979 to 1984.
Perhaps before then, may I inquire, when were you born? What's your date of birth?
5th May 1968.
And when did you attend, or where did you attend secondary school?
Pakalinden Junior Secondary School from 1984 to 1988.
What did you do upon completion of secondary school in Pakalinding?
Immediately, I joined the army.
Which year was that?
This was on the 19th April 1990.
Could you kindly speak up, please, so that
sorry,
we
you
can
know, I
hear?
have a bad voice, you know.
Could you draw the microphone closer to you?
Is that
And
okay?
maybe lift it up a little bit? Good.
Is that okay?
I think that's better.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry?
The question was, which year did you join the Gambia National Army? Do you recall?
19th April 1990.
Good. Where did you do your training?
I did my training at Farafenye Barracks.
Do you recall when you completed your recruit training?
Same 1990, after 6 months training, 1990, the same 90.
Where were you deployed after your training?
When we finished training, we did our pass out at Yundum Barracks. Immediately we passed out, I was posted at Kartong.
Kartong military post, right?
Yes, sir.
And what rank did you attain at this stage?
I was still a private soldier.
And for how long were you deployed at Kartong?
I was in Kartong for a period of 1 year. I came back to Yundum as infantry soldier.
In which company?
Alpha Company then, later Echo Company.
And when you returned to Fajara Barracks,
Yundum, sorry.
to Yundum Barracks, excuse my lapse. When you returned to Yundum Barracks, did you go back as regular infantry soldier or did you move to another detachment?
Yes, I was still an infantry soldier for a period of time, later transferred to the RP unit, Regimental Police.
And what is the function of the regimental police? Can you kindly tell us?
The regimental police are in charge of discipline within the barracks.
And who was your immediate commander?
Then it was RSM 5. It used to be RSM 5.
And for how long did you remain at the regimental police?
I was at the regimental police until the arrival of the Nigerian NATO group.
Do you recall which year?
So this could be in 1992 because the Nigerians came in here in 1992.
Prior to the arrival of the Nigerians, what was the situation like in the army? As far as you can tell.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, it was so terrible. It was so terrible.
You explain what you mean by that. Why was it terrible?
The simple fact that soldiers were not then recognized. They were not recognized. The simple fact is then the amount of money we were paid was very small, one, and there's no incentive attached to it.
Salaries were generally poor.
Salaries were generally poor, and then there was no incentive, as I said. Then we were all living in the camp. We were all in the camp, living in the camp, in dormitory life.
What was the problem with dormitory life in the camp?
Well, that means you don't live outside the camp. You only have to live inside the barracks after your work, after closing from work.
Was the accommodation adequate?
It was not accommodated. It was very poor. It was, as I said, dormitory. It's an open space where you have beds, double beds, where you can have almost 30 to 40 soldiers in a particular room.
Did you have enough beds at all?
Yes, there are beds, but as I said, in the normal circumstances, a soldier should not live like that.
You would have preferred having
A better
individual accommodation.
something like that than to be packed in a, and that's because the simple fact that if anybody catches disease, you can easily transmit it to others because it's an open area where you have a bunch of people living together,
How about the food?
Generally, the food was not that much bad because in those days, even 12 o'clock, when you break barracks, you come back 12 o'clock, you can still find food at the cookhouse where you can eat.
We have had evidence that the food was basically water chew. You did not find it that bad. Is that the case?
Yes, but then, yes, it's water chew, but then you can eat to your satisfaction. And that is what is more important. Yes.
So the food wasn't so terrible after all.
It's eatable anyway. It was eatable. Just to sustain your life. Yeah.
And what were the other problems in the barracks, as far as you can tell?
There were a series of demonstrations by soldiers from missions at Liberia, complaining of their dues that they're supposed to be paid, and they are not paid. So that led to a series of demonstrations, like first contingency Liberia, the second contingency 2, and the third contingency. All these soldiers went on a mission, and they came back, and they demonstrated, and they all demonstrated in the same issue, that is their dues.
What do you mean by their dues?
That means their allowances that they are supposed to be paid. We are not paid.
Were you one of those soldiers?
I've never got the opportunity to go to Liberia.
So how do you know about this?
I live with them, I work with them, and I know how they feel.
Did you witness any one of these demonstrations?
The first Liberia contingency demonstration, yes, I witnessed it.
Can you tell us what you saw?
This one morning, soldiers from Liberia convoyed to the QRF room, expecting to meet the then army commander who used to be in Daunjai. Unfortunately, they could not meet in Daunjai. The only person they could meet was Samejo Selos. Then
could you say again? The next person?
Samejo Selos.
Who was Samejo Selos?
He was the British training team in the Gambia then.
Go ahead.
As they were in the QRF, waiting for the arrival of the army commander, later on, I understand that they knew that the army commander is not coming to see them. They started murmuring until Selos started to threaten them. He fired a gun, which resulted to a chaos. They have to grab him down, took the weapon from him, and then they start going out. Anybody they can catch, they get your weapon from you. They start shooting in the air. Then from there, they jump over the fence, took a bus. They all convoyed in that bus. They went straight to Banjul.
Do you know what happened in Banjul?
In Banjul, later the day, they came back with, how do you call it? If my memory will serve me correct, with the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense then. When they came back...
Do you know who that person was at the time?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Kindly proceed, please.
All right, when they came back to the camp, they were paid their dues, then some according to them, ringleaders who are strong-headed were discharged from the army.
How about the second demonstration?
The second demonstration.
Before that, perhaps I should ask whether there were any consequences on the leadership of the army as a result of this meeting?
When that happens, Ndaunja was immediately removed from office. Then it was, leadership position was resumed by Maba Job.
You mean it was assumed by Maba Job?
Yes.
All right. And then what happened? There was a subsequent demonstration.
There was still demonstration continued. Second contingency also came back, and they also demonstrated. This time around, they went up to Denton Bridge. All right. They were stopped by Colonel Sar, Samsidin Sar, then, who was then an attaché to the Defense Ministry. He was able to convince them, because he can talk. He was able to convince them. They brought them back to the camp, and then they were also later arrested, taken to Mile 2.
At what stage did the Nigerians arrive? Is it after the third demonstration?
Yes.
Or before?
After the third demonstration. That's the time the Nigerians came in.
So can you tell us what happened to your position in the army after the arrival of the Nigerians?
When the Nigerians arrived, I was immediately appointed as the orderly to Lieutenant Colonel Odu, the CO 1 Battalion.
Can you tell us what does COO mean? OCO?
Commanding Officer 1 Battalion.
So what was his rank? Was it Colonel Odu or Lieutenant Colonel?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel Odu.
Yes, yes.
So he was Nigerian.
Yes.
He was commanding officer of the 1st Infantry Battalion.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes.
And you were his orderly.
Yes.
What was your role as orderly for Lieutenant Colonel Odu?
Yes, my role includes, outgoing files, incoming files. What I mean outgoing file, well, like any file he finished, he attended, he will put it in the outgoing file, and I'll come and then pick them up and then take them to the orderly room for, how do you call it?
Processing?
Yes, something like that. And also equally, I'll also be in his office. Anybody who comes in will ask me that he would like to see him, and I'll go in, announce that person's presence. When he wants to see him, he'll tell me, allow him to come in, then I will open the door for him, and then he will go inside, and then whatever they will discuss, they discuss it. And equally, if he's going out too, I go along with him too, anywhere he's going.
So that means you would be around him in most places he went to during working hours?
Yes, at all times.
Tell us about the impact of the Nigerians in the army, as far as you know.
Well, the Nigerians have, they played a very important role in our life as soldiers, because when they came in, that's the time we were able to have certain incentives like transport allowances, virtually, house rent. They were the people who were able to introduce that within the system. So virtually, at the end of the day, you will see that a private soldier will receive at least 1,200, at least, yeah.
But what was the general feeling of the soldiers regarding the presence of the Nigerians in the army?
I would say the officer code, I can say they're not happy, okay? The officer code, the simple reason is they are taking command from them, okay? Wherever a Nigerian would be a commander, then the seconder could be a Gambian in most cases. So in the officer code, they were not happy, to be quite honest, because they realized that they are making mistake, that's why the Nigerians were here in order to correct it. But as a private soldier at that time, I would have said the Nigerians, their comment was timely because, one, as I said, the welfare was definitely, put into considerations. When they came in, that's the time we have buses lifting from soldiers from one angle to another, from workplace, home, from home to the barracks, and then they also opened the door for soldiers to live outside the barracks. That is, those who are married can live outside the barracks. So, and equally, we have been trained a lot by Nigerians also. Yeah.
And as a private soldier, would you say that the training of the Nigerians was up to standard?
Sorry?
As a private soldier, would you say that the training of the Nigerians was up to standard? The training provided by the Nigerians?
No, yes, I would have said that because, when they came in, we are all the time training. So, and then training makes a soldier, to be a good soldier. But once you don't train, it makes you lazy, and you start to think of other ways. But once you are engaged on daily basis, you don't even have time for certain things, And equally, even those who are, unfortunate to attend school, they were able to provide a literacy school for them within the camp, whereby they can teach them, they can write, and then they can be able to speak, So all those things I see it as a stepping stone.
You saw the presence of the Nigerians as a blessing.
Well, yes, at the time.
The officer corps were not happy with that arrangement. That's what you said.
Yes, the officer corps, they were not happy.
You served under Odu as his orderly until the Nigerians left in 1994. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell us about 21st July 1994? Can you tell us what happened in Yundum Barracks as far as you can recall?
Yeah, on the 21st of July 1994, there was a guard of honor at the airport. All right, and then the guard of honor party were at the airport.
Could you take a few steps backwards and tell us what the events at the barracks before you got to the airport? Where were you? How you came to be at the airport and things like that?
Okay. Well, the events that happened within the camp at that point in time, I'll not be able to tell you because I was in the office with the Odu until the time of going to the airport comes up. He came up, I went along with him, including his driver, Abduba. We went to the airport.
At this stage, did you know or did you have any idea what was going to happen at the airport?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
I knew there should be a takeover in the North Cell, how do you call it, Jemme at the time who was armed should have been the person who should have arrested the VIP.
But how did you know that?
I was told.
Kindly tell us the circumstances in which you were told.
All right. Like as I said earlier on, I was at the adjutant's office, Sylv Gomez. I was in his office complaining of my house allowance because.
When was this? Month or the full date, if you can recall?
Almost a month before, let's say.
So this must have been in June?
In June.
1994.
Most probably, in June.
So tell us what happened when you went to the adjutant's office.
Yeah, because I went to receive my salary, then Hydra was the one paying. It was the duty officer paying that month, June, I can't remember, yes. When I went to my pay, I saw that, the house rent was not included. And I told him that, look, why this? He said, look, if you want, you sign. If you don't want, you leave it. This is, how I'm giving. So I knew definitely my house rent was tampered. So I went to my boss, Odu himself, and complained to him. He told me that, look, go to your Gambian brother, who is Sir Gomez. Then he was the adjutant. I went to him. I said, sir, I went to the pay officer, but I realized that my house rent was not paid. He said, yes. I said, but then that means you are not fair to me. He said, why am I saying that? I said, sir, you were also allocated a house in Bahamas and you refused to occupy it. The simple fact is you want to have that house rent. And for me, I was told because I'm working closer to CO, so I had to be in the camp. That was the reason why I'm there. And before I come in, I even said, if I come, whether I'm going to enjoy my house rent. He said, yes, you are going to enjoy it. So now that I'm deprived, that means he's not fair with me. So as I was pushing and pulling with him, Edu stepped in at that time,
Who is Edu?
Edward Gomez, Lieutenant Edward Singate. He stepped in and then saw me. I was very angry. He told me, step out and wait for me. Step outside and wait for me. So when he finished what he was doing with the adjutant...
Did you step out?
Yes, I stepped out. I waited. When he finished with the adjutant, he came out and then asked me to go with him to his office. When we reached the office, he said,
where was his office located?
Echo Company, at Company Line. He told me about what happens, and as I said, I explained the story to him. He told me that, don't worry, we are about to plot a coup, and people like you are working, closer to a very big man, sometimes you may need certain informations which we would like you to provide. I said, that's not a problem. So I said, but when is this going to happen? He said, no, take your time, I'm just here to inform you that this is what we are up to, this is what is going to happen, And he said, when we succeed, we are going to compensate each soldier. Each soldier is going to be compensated. And furthermore, he said, that is plan A. Plan B, when it fails, they are going to assassinate all the senior officers in the army then, and then loot the central bank, and then flee.
And what to the central bank?
Loot the central bank and flee the country.
Who told you that?
Edward Singate.
What was his rank at the time?
Lieutenant. He was a lieutenant then.
And which company did he belong to?
He belonged to Echo Company then.
How did you agree with him? Did you agree to join the coupists?
Look,
he was enlisting you to provide information as someone close to one of the big people,
yes,
as he put it.
As you may equally know, probably then we know each other, those who are strong-headed, those who don't look back when they want to do certain things.
Were you strong-headed?
I was strong-headed, to be quite honest, in those days. I was very terrible,
You were very terrible.
Very terrible.
Those are your words?
Yes, very terrible.
Okay, good.
But along the line, I also try to be, selective in the sense that, in the trouble, in the sense that I have to be selective. I don't have to be, nobody use me. I don't allow anybody to use me. I have my own principles.
Let's go back to
Okay.
the subject.
Exactly.
So Edward told you that Plan B was overthrow the government, compensate all soldiers.
Yes.
Plan A. Plan B, that is, if they failed in achieving Plan A, they resort to Plan B, which is assassinate all senior officers,
yes,
quote unquote, loot the central bank, and then disappear.
Yeah.
That was what Edward told you.
Yes.
And did he tell you who were to be the participants in this coup?
No, at that point in time, he didn't tell me who and who.
Did you ask him?
No, I did not ask.
And how did you conclude that meeting?
Between me and him,
Yes.
after he told me everything, then I say, okay, we are waiting to see. Then I also fall back and went back to my boss office.
At what stage did you know that 21 July was going to be the day of the coup?
As I said, you see, in coup d'etat, you don't have to have, go into plans, or how do you call it, to meet whereby you discuss certain issues. Information is passed by one person to another, whom you trust. Not everybody, is whom you trust. This is how information is passed.
At what stage did you, excuse me, you told us earlier that on 21 July you were with Odu in his office.
Yes.
And you went with him to the airport. But at this stage you knew that there was going to be a coup.
Yes.
So the question is, when did you know that 21 July was going to be the day for the coup?
That very day I knew that something is going to happen.
Can you tell us how? How you came to get that information?
As I told you, that day the ways, soldiers were forming up, can easily tell you that, something is going to happen. Because the mere fact that I saw Sana Sabo with a jeep, with soldiers, and I also saw, how do you call it, this guy, Edward, also, the way he was talking to soldiers, I knew something is going to happen.
But as at the time you were leaving your office with Lieutenant Colonel Odu to go to the airport, did you know exactly what it was that was going to happen and what the plan was?
That's what I'm telling you. As I said, the plan was, the moment the president is inspecting the parade, Yajamis will get hold of him, give a warning shot, who will be helped by Edward, who was at the flag bearer, who was a flag bearer within the parade. And then Sana Sabali was at the other end of the apron, around Yundum end, who will come in with a force, with RPGs, light machine guns, to scare the situation, to control this way. He will blow the tower, then ministers will be arrested, including the VIP himself, rushed to the camp.
Who are you referring to as the VIP himself?
Yes, the president, Jawara, the president.
When did you know that this was the actual plan that was to be executed at the airport?
Look, as I told you, this is an information that comes in, around us, within ourselves. As I said, we know each other. Information comes and goes. And definitely, even if you are not there, you know this is what has been said about the event.
So on 21 July, as at the time you were going to the airport, you knew exactly what was going to happen?
Yes, yes.
Did you inform Odu?
No, I did not.
Why didn't you?
See, maybe I don't know other officers, but Odu played a very important role in that 1994. Odu played a very important role in 1994.
The question is, why did you not inform him? Was it because you were part of the coup?
Well, because I feel like it's not his business, and then this is my country, and then,
You wanted the coup to succeed?
Yes, I wanted it to succeed. Because the simple fact that, when a minister can stand before all of us as a soldiers and say, what is this of soldiers? maybe my dad's statement.
When
was
did
with-
that happen?
Maybe my dad's statement is not within there, but like, as I said, when Odu used to be the CEO, he used to invite the vice president then, Sekou Sabali, at the camp to take him around the tour of the camp where soldiers pass night. And I hear Odu tell him that this is where soldiers will pass their night. Would you like your soldier to pass night here? And Sekou Sabali in response will say, what is the use of the army? When you talk about the internal security, it's the police. When you talk about the VIP protection, it's the gendarmerie. So, but what is the use of the army? What's the use of the army? So, and that this does not go down well with some, a soldier. It doesn't go down well with me. And Odu will in turn tell him that, would you like to see what a soldier man can do? Yes. He will tell him this. And certainly when Dabo will leave the camp, he will call everybody, the whole barracks, he will call everybody and say, see, this is what your minister said. He said, what is the use of the army? He said they were even planning to squash off the army and they will all go and be farmers there at Jahal Pachari. I run away from farming from my home to come to the army. I would not like to go back as a farmer. I don't like that. So equally, I didn't inform him, and I don't want to inform him. And I knew he knew what is going on. I knew that.
You knew that Odi knew what
Yes,
was
yes,
happening.
yes, yes.
Can you tell us about it?
As I said, immediately we were from the airport,
On your way to the airport,
yes.
did you know that Odi knew what was going to happen?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Like when we were about to go, I opened the door for him to enter. He entered. I wanted to enter. He said, no, stay. I said, no, I'm going.
You are a private soldier.
A private soldier, yes.
This man was Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel, yes.
The commanding officer
Yes.
at the barracks.
Yes.
You questioned his order.
I am telling you, whether you believe it or not. I said, I'm going. Then he smiled. He said, okay, get inside. And I joined him.
And what did you make of that smile?
Well, that simply, he knew that I knew what is happening. So, and I want it to be happening in my presence.
Your assessment was
Yes.
that he knew,
Yes.
that you also knew
Yes.
what was happening.
Exactly.
That's your assessment.
Yes.
But he didn't say anything to
No, he didn't
suggest
say it.
to
He
you
only said,
that he
join. And I joined.
Okay. So you went to the airport.
I went to the airport, yes.
And tell us what happened at the airport.
At the airport, as I said, the Guard of Honor party was assembled. The Nigerian intelligence officer, then I cannot remember his name anymore. It's an intelligence officer within the Nigerian NATO group. When he came, he inspected the whole parade. People have to cock their rifles, show their magazines. After inspecting the rifle, he came and then fridge side, body side, he said, all the Guard of Honor party, I was standing watching until he finished. For some time, Yajame also arrived with his military police team. He told Yajame, why are you here? Yajame told him that this is my country, it's my president. I have a right to be here. He told him that, no, you should not be here. You should only send your men, not you. Then he approached him and asked him to surrender his pistol. There was a bit of, push and pull between them. But later on, he has to surrender his pistol. Then he opened his boots and then threw the pistol in and then locked the boots.
Who collected the weapon from Yaya Jammeh? Was it RSM Jeng or was it Colonel Akun?
No, not RSM Jeng. As to best of my memory, as what I've shown, is that Nigerian officer.
Was he together with RSM Jeng? Or was
RSM
he
Jeng, of
alone?
course, he was there, but personally, he didn't take weapon from me. RSM Jeng was on the ground, because he was the camp RSM then.
Okay, and what happened after Yaya Jammeh's weapon was
Then
taken away
after
from him?
he asked the other military police personnel to surrender their weapons, and they also surrendered their weapons. And then the Guard of Honor party went inside the apron to wait for the arrival of the president. Immediately the president arrived from the foot of the plane to his waiting car. They knock off. They went to Banjul.
And what happened to the soldiers afterwards?
When that happens, obviously everybody's morals were low. Everybody was thinking next, what is coming next? Because as you already know, it was not a hidden secret that something has to be happen, and it does not happen now. So when we came back to the camp, you can see soldiers returning their weapons hurriedly, going out of the barracks. I was there with Odu until, at the point where Yajame walked in and said, "Where is your boss?" I said, "He's inside the office."
What time was that?
This was just after the airport, when we come back from the airport.
What time? If you can't recall, tell us you can't recall.
So it could be around after 5, probably after 5, if my memory can serve me well. It was in the afternoon anyway, the afternoon.
And then
So Yajame walked into, he said, "Where is your boss?" I said, "He's inside." I opened the door. He went inside the office. And as he was talking, I didn't even close the door. I was standing at the door listening to what the conversation they're having.
Conversation between
Yajame and Odu.
Lieutenant Colonel Odu.
Yes.
And what did you hear?
I heard that Yajame said, "Sir, but it fades." He said, "Look, Lieutenant Jame, you know that we are not going to allow this thing to happen at the airport." He said, "Now that he is in his house, go after him." He said, "But how?" He said, "Remember, there was a communique that American Navy is here. The Army is supposed to have an exercise with them the following morning, that is Friday. Use that as an opportunity."
Who said that?
Lieutenant Colonel Odu suggested that to Yaya Jammeh.
You are on the oath, Mr.
I swear I am on the oath. I have no cause to lie. Okay? All what I heard, what I know, that's what I'm going to say. I said I didn't even close the door. I was standing at the door trying to know the outcome of the airport event. I was curious and I need to satisfy my curiosity. So then Yajame smiles and then he went out of the office. He locked the office. I was there with him until his time. He went back to home. I went and dropped him at Banjulunding, and I also came back to the camp.
Yeah, Jame merely smiled. He did not say anything.
He didn't say anything. He just smiled and then went out.
That's your testimony.
That's my
Odu
testimony.
told Yaya Jame,
Yes,
go after President Jawara at his residence.
exactly.
The next day was going to be a military exercise.
Yes.
Provides perfect cover. Great
Exactly.
opportunity.
Good.
That's your testimony.
That's my
On
testimony.
the oath.
On the oath.
What did you do after that? After dropping Odu off at Banjulunding, you went back to the bar.
Yes, I came back to the barracks as usual until after 2 o'clock.
But before then, did you see any gendarmerie somewhere around that
Yes,
area?
exactly. Yeah. As I said, when we came back from the airport, we were in the office for a while. Odu walked out of the office. I was following him up. I was holding the walkie-talkie with me. As we are walking along the guard room, you can hear from the communication set, names were being announced. Lieutenant Jame, Lieutenant Edward Singate, Lieutenant Sanasabale, wherever they are seen, they should be arrested.
Do you know who was communicating that information?
No, I don't know exactly who was communicating, but I can hear these names through the radio. So as I was walking with him towards the guard room, he saw Zandams, their vehicle was patrolling our camp along Brikama Highway, going up to the STN, back, come, they do like that. He even asked, who are these people? They said, sorry, they are the Zandra Morris. He called President. I see he used his phone, called President to tell him that I'm seeing your men around my camp. If I should come out again and see them, I will order my soldiers to shoot at them. Within a while, we see Zandams withdrawing, going back to Banjul.
Then that evening, after dropping Odu off,
I came back to the camp. As usual, we were with our friends, hiding somewhere, having good time. You know, until
what did that entail? Having a good time?
Smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol. I have to be frank enough to you. Yes, up to around 2, after 2 o'clock, now we said, let's walk, take a stroll to the camp. And we went to the camp. I was together with, if I can remember, Yusufa Jame, Obite, and some other guys. And Cham, Ibrahim Cham. We take a stroll to the camp. As we reached the camp.
Where were you coming from?
From camp at the Bahamas. Sorry,
you were coming from Bahamas?
Bahamas, inside the camp.
Okay, good.
So when we reached the camp, and then we went to the guard room, QRF, to see what activity is taking place. About 5 minutes, Yajame Sofes and then Lieutenant Yajame, Edward Singate, and then Sana Sabari, they all came out and said, what are you waiting for? We said, look, we are waiting for you guys. It's okay, we are here now. I heard them ask, where is Almamo Mane? I later understand that he's the one who's supposed to snatch the keys from the armory, because he was then he was working at the armory. He was the one who's supposed to snatch the keys. But I only made to understand that he was nowhere to be seen. Basiru Kamara also, then he was the one working at the ST, Supply and Transport Unit. He was the one who's supposed to snatch the keys for the vehicles. So those people, they were nowhere to be found. So now they say, what are we going to do? We said, let's break the armory. I can see Yusufa Jame, Tolcham, having an iron, hitting the padlock, the armory padlock, until they got broke. We get inside, we arm ourselves.
Mr. Witness, we received testimony that when Sheriff Gomez, Lieutenant Sheriff Gomez, arrived in the morning around 7 a.m.
Yeah, before, we don't reach to that yesterday.
Just a moment, hear the question
okay.
first. He was arrested, and then his briefcase was snatched away from him, and the armory keys were then taken from his bag, and the armory was opened.
No. Before Sheriff Gomez arrived at the camp, the armory is already breaking in. It's already broken in. Soldiers were armed to their tooth. Believe me. Sheriff Gomez came shortly before we depart. Sheriff Gomez saw face. Shortly before we depart. That was towards 7. The armory was broken well before that time. Well before. The armory was broken early hours of the morning, between the hours of 2 towards 3 o'clock. It was not at that early morning. Whoever testified, probably he oversighted or he was not present at the time.
Were weapons only taken from the armory, or you had access to weapons from some other source?
No, it's only the armory that we took weapons.
How about the sentry guards?
No, the sentries are already armed. Remember, somebody who is on sentry is already armed.
Were the sentries also part of the coup, or what happened? What happened to the sentries and their weapons?
Look, at that point in time, at that night, whoever is in the camp is part of the coup. Whether you are on sentries or not on sentries, as long as you are there at that night, you are involved. Yes.
So, at around 3 a.m. or thereabout, Yusuf Ajame and others,
Ibu Cham,
Tall Cham,
Tall Cham, yeah.
you broke into the armory,
Yeah.
and then what happened after that?
Yeah, they said take whatever you can take. And then soldiers started taking weapons. And
Did you
then
take a
ammunition.
weapon?
Sir?
Did you take
Yes,
a
I take a weapon. I take a LMG, if I can remember.
What is LMG?
Light machine gun.
And did you take any ammunition?
Yes, I take ammunition, 100 rounds, because the magazine contained 100 rounds. And then I also had grenades with me. I have about 4 grenades. Yeah.
And then what happened?
And from there, we were there, you know, what else next to do? And then they said, vehicles now. You know, but Samba Jallo, Abduba, if I can remember, they jumped over the fence, and then they went.
Which Abduba are you referring to?
Abdul Karimba. Abdul Karimba, he was a private soldier driver at the same time.
Driver for who?
No, SD. SD.
That is service and transport.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, this Abduba equally the driver to Commander Odu. Exactly, good. Yeah.
So this Abduba was the driver to Commander
Yes,
Odu,
yes.
and you were the orderly to Commander Odu.
Yes.
And both of you were involved
Yes.
at this early stage of
Yes, yes.
right? And then
Then, you know, they jumped over the fence. You know, they came up with a truck and 2 mini vans. These GPT mini vans.
at what stage was Sirif Gomez arrested?
Yes,
Was
I'm coming
was
to
it
that.
before
I'm
or
coming.
after?
No, this was after.
All right.
This was after.
Okay. Go ahead.
So they came with the truck and then 2 minivans. If you can remember, in those days, the minibus normally carry their staffs early hours of the morning. Those are the 2 minibus they hijack plus a truck. And all passengers were asked to drop down. Then they drive them inside to the camp. When they arrived, Bud came out and said, "Sir, there are vehicles now." So then,
Which batch?
Samba Jallo. So,
What was his rank at the time?
private soldier.
And what work did he do specifically?
He's a driver. So
Where
there-
from? Batch Samba Jallo from where? Where's he from originally?
Farato.
Thank you. Carry on. please.
Then from there, people started boarding the vehicles. They said, board the vehicles. But later on, Yajame said, "Hey, hold on. So we were there for almost 5 minutes or so. Then we saw a vehicle stop from Brikama going towards Banju, Sarakunda. When the vehicle stopped, somebody disembarked from the vehicle and then walked across the highway. He was having what we call leket. Is it? How do you call that? in
Calabash.
English? Calabash. This calabash, I understand there's a charm inside. Naso, okay? When he came up to the fence and then he handed it over to Yajame, Yajame collected it from him. He drank some and then applied some on his face. He passed it like that.
What do you mean by he passed it like that?
Like after using it, you give it to the next person behind you. And he also applied and then pass it to the next guy. So it goes round. Some of you who are in the queue were
So
opportunity.
you're suggesting that some concoction was in that basket, in
Yes,
that calabash,
yes, I
which
believe.
was being,
Yes, I believe.
he drank a bit of it and
Yes, and then apply some on my
applied
face.
some on his face.
Yeah, until it ends where it ends. You know,
Can you tell us which soldiers used that?
well, I can say these three people: Sana Sabali, Edward Singate, Yaya Jammeh, the same Yusufa Jammeh, myself, Tolcham, also Sonko. You know, it goes on like that. The rest I cannot, because we are many.
But Edward Singate, he was a Christian at the time.
Yes, he was, but well, he applied it. He applied it. Whether he believed it or not, I don't know. But he applied it.
At this stage, had Sirif Gomez already arrived at the camp or
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. Okay. So you guys,
Certainly, we finished the as we are boarding the this in the vehicles. This was towards 7. Sirif Gomez saw face. That's the time Sirif Gomez saw face, and equally Sirif Gomez was arrested by the sentries, who actually I cannot remember now. He was asked to double up and then jump, frog jump, up to the guard room. He was locked up, and then
was he the only person locked up at this time?
at that point in time. Yes, if I can remember. What I've seen is I've seen Sirif Gomez being arrested.
Do you know a person called Obi Mbai?
Yeah, he was a duty officer then. That night he was in the cells.
At
Obi
what
Mbai.
stage was he arrested?
I don't know when he was arrested, but I later knew that he was in the cell because he was a duty officer that night. Mbai, yes.
Did anybody say anything regarding the arrest of officers?
Within also,
As you guys were preparing to leave, did anybody say anything regarding the arrest of officers?
yes, Lieutenant Jammeh said anybody who comes above their rank should be arrested and detained.
Who said that?
Lieutenant Jammeh.
Which Lieutenant Jammeh?
Yeah, Jammeh. Yes,
So that was an order that he gave.
he gave. So I boarded the truck because it was the last one. I boarded that one, then Jammeh occupied the mini bus. It was Singate occupied the mini bus. Then Sana Sabal occupied the truck. Then movement start movement. As we left the camp on our way going, any government vehicle that we meet, somebody will go down and then ask you to park the car, lock the car, hand over the key. You walk until we reach Banjulunding police station. They equally the same. The police also were all put inside the cell. So there was asked to
Where
stay.
was that? Where was that?
Banjulunding police station.
Banjulunding police station.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us in detail what happened there.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't come down the truck, but I knew, I was told that all police were put inside the cell and a soldier was asked to take charge. And it continued. When, as we are moving, we came
Who
up
was the commander responsible for the truck in which you were in?
Sana Sabali is the one responsible. If there is another senior man, then it's Masana Jawara. He was a corporal then. He was the only corporal in our truck.
Okay. Who else do you remember in that truck?
SFP Ba also was in the truck, but later, around Abuko Nature Reserve, I think he was trying to test his juju or what, or maybe his ND. He fired himself on his leg. So they dropped him down. He was asked to drop down to find a transport to go back to the camp. And then I was equally there with Sedabo.
Dabo?
Sedabo and Susonko, Masane Jawara. Yeah.
These were all private.
These are all private soldiers except Masane.
All right.
He was the only corporal then. So we continue movement until art station,
Which art station?
Abuko art station.
And what happened there?
When we arrived there, the three of them get down with some soldiers. I didn't go down.
Which three?
Sana Sabali, Edward, and then Yaya Jammeh, they all get down. They went inside the art station complex. Later we saw people coming out. We understand that the international line was shut down. And then all those working there were asked to vacate the premises. And some soldiers were left there. And we continue movement until we came up to this place, how do you call it, Westfield Johnson. Then the two minivans head to Banjul, the truck head to Fajara Barracks.
Who were the leaders in these two minivans?
Each vehicle is occupied by an officer, Lieutenant Yaya Jammeh and Lieutenant Edward Singate.
And the truck?
And the truck led by Sana Sabali.
So you were in the truck?
Yes.
What did your group do upon arrival at Westfield?
We also peel over to go to Karaba Avenue towards Bakau Barracks. We go up to Fajara and then turn towards MRC, towards the Bakau. As we reach the beginning of the camp, at the beginning of the camp, a section was dropped in order to enter through the training school. That's the section I dropped in. I was within that section led by Masane Jawara.
Who led that group?
Masane Jawara.
Masane Jawara.
Yes.
And he was corporal?
He was a corporal then.
Okay. And the other group?
And the other group also went the other way. Probably they might use the main gate, I don't know. But they might use the main gate, probably.
Who led that group?
Sana Sabali was with that group.
And then tell us what happened after that.
So as we entered the training school, we found, I think, a training session going on there. Police and the NSS then. Then they were all arrested, escorted. As we are also moving towards the administrative area, you can hear gunshots. But I will not take them seriously because they are not, even if they are directed to me, they are not, it's not harmful. These are people who are firing and withdrawing. So it's not an opposition anymore. They are trying to way out. So as we reached to the administrative block, already Sana and others were there. The truck was parked there. All those who were arrested at the training school, including those who were found at the administrative area, were all put in that truck. All right? And they were asked, I told them to escort the truck to Yundum Barracks for possible detention. This is where I was until Sana Sabali had him talking to, because then we all have walkie-talkies. He called the other party, that is Edward, and then Yaya Jammeh to find out where they are. They said they are at the Denton Bridge. He said, okay, why? He said they are stopped there by some, Sandra Morris. This house, Sana also boarded vehicle with his team, and then he went towards the Denton Bridge.
Did he change vehicles or he went in?
No, he changed the vehicle, yes. He went with a pickup this time around, if I can remember, pickup. Because that truck that brought us went back to Yundum. So obviously he changed vehicle, he went with the cop. Nissan Patrol, or I think Nissan Patrol. Nissan Patrol.
And how about your group? What happened to your group?
Yeah, as he was stepping out from Fire Barracks, he called the most senior man and myself and said, take charge while we are away. We said, all right, sir. Then we start to post sentries. Myself, I was posted at the bar gate. If you are coming from Newtown and the bar gate, that's where I was posted. And this is where we remain.
How about the other people you were with?
Yes, they were deployed within the camp at the strategic points where people enter, entry points. They were also sent there in order to control those areas.
You mentioned somebody called Said Dabo.
Yes.
Did he remain in the camp?
Yes, he remained in the camp. I was with him there.
Okay. So, for how long did you remain in Fajara barracks?
Yeah, we were in Fujara Barracks Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I believe there was an announcement of council members. Then a week later, there was a communique also that all soldiers should return to barracks. Then I went back to Yindum Barracks.
And this time, when you went back to Yundum Barracks, there was already a new government in place, right?
Yes, yes,
And that's the council you're referring to.
yes.
Who were the members of the council, as far as you can recall?
Yeah, the council members was Yaya Jammeh, the chairman, the vice chairman, Lieutenant Sana Sabali. Then the defense minister was Lieutenant Edward Singate. Local government minister was Yankuba Toure. Interior minister was Sadibu Haidara. Then.
So when you went back to the camp, which position did you go to?
I still remain as a regimental police, as I said earlier on. That's where I was.
For how long?
I was there until this guy, how do you go, Babu Karajame was appointed as the army commander. When Babu Karajame was appointed the army commander, that's the time, he requested for me to be his orderly. Not through signal message as usual in the army, but this time around it was a verbal message, because then Maron was the CO, 1 battalion. Maron don't know me, he was a gendarmerie before. After takeover, he came to the army. He said he was looking for me almost 2 days, asking for me. The time he came to the garum, he found me sitting. He said, "Who is Bah?" They told him, "Sir, he's the one sitting down." He said, "You, since yesterday I've been looking for you, I could not see you. Babu Krajata is calling me." He said, "Nobody's going to be his orderly. You are the only one who's going to be his orderly." Then he asked me to come, to go with him. We entered a car, his car. He drove me to Banjul. That was on the 8th of November, 1994, if I can remember very well, yeah.
But before this date, what was the mood of the soldiers in Yundum Barracks?
Well, soldiers were not really happy because the promise made to them was not fulfilled.
What was the promise made to
The
them?
promise, as I said earlier on, was they will compensate each soldier when they succeed. And they succeeded. And there's nothing like that coming forward. So soldiers were not definitely happy. Grumbling, people were grumbling. Anywhere you have 2 or 3 people sitting down, that's the issue they are talking about, whether you know it or not.
And yes, they were saying they were not compensated as promised.
Yes.
But what else were they saying about that?
Yeah, equally, they were saying, let's change government. Let's change it again. We are the people who put them there. We can still change them. Yes, that rumor also was going on. It was not even a rumor anymore because, we formed the bulk majority. We formed the bulk of the majority. Yeah. As I said earlier on, it's only Yundum that participated in that coup d'etat, and even in the coup d'etat itself, not everybody was involved. Most of the senior officers, they all ran away. Officers, they all ran away. It's only junior ranks, from private soldier, lance corporal, the highest corporal, the highest criminal corporal. So that means not everybody is involved. Okay, and definitely the same soldiers are still in Yundum again, and they're not satisfied, not happy, because they have seen that already. They have changed their life is already changed, and still our life continues to be the same. Yeah.
As far as you know, were there any meetings in which the soldiers discussed this particular issue?
Myself, I've attended a meeting, I think on two, if I may remember, 2 occasions.
Where were those meetings held?
We normally converge. See, if you one time visited Yundum, behind the camp, you have this lemon. You know,
Lemon?
a big farm of lemon is behind
orchard.
there. That's normally where we normally go and hide and then smoke our weed and then discuss our issues. I attended on 2 occasions on a meeting there.
Can you tell us who are the soldiers you can recall who
Yeah,
were present during these meetings?
I can remember myself being there, Lamin Bojang, Basiru Kamara, and
Basiru Kamara.
the dead Basiru Kamara, the late Basiru
What
Kamara.
was his rank?
He was a sergeant, staff sergeant or sergeant.
Okay, and who else?
And then Ansu Sonko. Yes, I think I can remember these people.
Do you know a person called Alaji Kanyi?
Yes, exactly, Alaji Kanyi. Yes, he used to be part of the meeting. And
Were any officers present during these meetings?
no, even if officers are meeting, we will not be privy to that meeting. Okay, everything in the army is done according to how it's supposed to be done. Officers talk among themselves, men talk among themselves, and there will be somebody who's going to link them. You understand?
So you, Kanyi, Bojang, and others, what were you talking about?
Equally, as I said, you know, they asked us to help them until when they succeeded. When they succeeded, they will compensate each and every soldier. And almost how many months now? July, August, September, October, still now nothing has happened. 3 months, nothing has happened. And in fact, we understand that, you know, there are bodyguard teams or what were compensated. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. Those were with their escort teams were given something. Whether it is true or not, I don't know. Okay, so definitely we are not happy with that.
So your meetings with Kanyi and Co, was that just to vent your frustrations?
Exactly.
But was it really a plan to overthrow?
Yes, it was planned to. It went further to say that, you know, we remove them and replace others. Yes.
But who was to lead that operation?
Well, until then, I don't know exactly who's supposed to lead. I didn't know exactly then who's supposed to lead. Because on the 8th, as I said, I was transferred from Yundum to Army headquarters. So since I left on the 8th, I also found back attending meetings because I realized that I was no more at 1BN anymore. So it doesn't make any sense for me to, you know, take part in any of their meetings.
Okay, so you are now transferred to be orderly for Mr. Babu Karjada.
Babu Karjada, yes.
Can you take it from there? Can you proceed?
All right. I think on the 10th of November, we were on a meeting at Yundum with council members.
Who were you with?
We were with, you know, Sana Sabali.
Can you take it from after you reported to work at Army headquarters?
Yes.
That morning of 10th?
Exactly. When I reported at the work, and then I was escorted to Babu Karjada's office by late Lieutenant Barrow, who was the administrative officer then. He He told me, but are you not promoted still now? I said, sir, no, I'm not promoted. He said, no, but you should be promoted. I said, well, I'm not promoted. But he knew me and I knew him. We are all from Jara. I came into the army and met him there. So he took me to Lieutenant Colonel Babakar Jata's office. When I appeared, he told Babakar, sir, is this the one you are referring to? He said, yes, he's the very one. So starting from that day on the 8th, I was with him, going to work, pick him up. But the funniest thing of all is, in the normal circumstances, I should not be alone with him, because when he was changing Dada, Dada was with three orderlies. But then, for me alone to be his orderly, that was not normal to me, and it was not usual. And as the verbal, it's supposed to be a signal message that so and so to be my orderly, but verbal communication or telephone conversation, that one become very abnormal to me. The simple fact is, before the takeover, we had an exercise at Kudang exercise. So during the break, lunch period, I was serving senior officers within the tent. Then Babakar Jata was a captain then. He told me in our local language that Bam follow serve. I told him that, sir. He said I should serve him first. I said, sir, I'm coming to you when I finish with the senior men, because then you have brigadiers, you have major generals, you have lieutenant colonels. He was just a captain. So I'm not crazy to serve him first while others are sitting down. But he further went on saying that in our local language, this time around, he's also avoiding for Nigerians to hear what he's talking to me. He said,
You just lost me, my friend.
Yeah.
Could you say that again a bit slowly?
He said,
then we will translate it.
I said, he told me, but follow Saf. I said, sir, Mbatunga, senior man and follow Saf follow, and from there, let me interpret that in English. He said, but serve me first. I said, sir, let me finish with the senior men first, and I'll come back to you. He said, but didn't you know that you yourself can walk under me? I said, yes, I can walk under you. So equally, when I was transferred to his office, along the line, if you are going, he will still remind me, but can you remember that Kudang exercise? I said, yes, I can remember it. He said, didn't you see what I was saying? I said, it's your time now. It's your time. And I will do my best to serve you. So, but that became very odd to me. So it simply means that I'm there on a punishment basic. That's what I see the thing. So this is where I was until on the 10th of November. All right. We went alongside with the council members to Yundum. It was Sana Sabali was there, Lieutenant Edward Singate was there, Sadibu Haidara, Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara was there, Yankuba Ture was there too.
How about entourage?
Yes, they were with their escorts.
Names, please.
Sana Sabali, JCB Mendy was with him. Babu Karinjai was with him. Yenjai was with him.
You have Babu Karinjai, you have B.A.
Yes, I know all of them.
Babu Karinjai, did he have an alias? Another name by which he's
Babu Karinjai, Dichep, he's my badmate. He's my badmate. I know him very well.
Do you say?
Dichep, Babu Karinjai.
Dichep.
Yes, Dichep.
Dichep. Why Dichep? What does
because he likes, he's very immaculate, and then he like party, party, called Dichep. Yeah, and then...
Is Babu Karinjai Dichep the same as Njai Ponkal?
Yes, it's the same Njai Ponkal. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Then you have...
And then you have B.A. Njai.
You have B.A. Njai too. And then you have Jakaria Dabo. The driver was, I think, Dembo Jiba. I remember. The other driver was a Zandramuri. I'm not used to him that much. Very small man. Conte. I don't know his first name. Yes, this we are with Sana Sabali. And then Edward used to be with Bachsamba Jallo, Lamin Marong, Mustafa Toure.
Nickname? Any nickname?
Churo.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so Hydra used to be with Lamarana Bari. Yes, Lamarana Bari used to be with Hydra. Then Yankuba Toure used to be with Esa Mendy.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, and then,
Yeah. We were at the camp for a meeting.
what time did you get to the camp, as far as you can recall?
I'm sure it was after 12 o'clock. After 12, I may remember very well. After 12, we were at Yundum Barracks. They meet soldiers first. When I mean soldiers, from senior NCOs down to private soldiers. At the company line, they called in a meeting, everybody converge. Sana spoke first. He said they are aware of a planned coup, and they are asking people who are involved to desist from it. If not, it's going to be. They are not going to take the matter very light with them. Then from there, Edward also spoke. He stood up and said he's the defense minister. If anything goes wrong in the army, he's the one responsible. He fired even two shots in the air, which does not go down well with other soldiers. Soldiers started murmuring, started saying, they came here to threaten people, And then also from there, Edward, this guy, Hadra also spoke. He said, I think it's a military government, they're under sanction, touch any institution, once it is touched, it's going to be affected, something like that. But they all spoke. Then from there...
Who do you mean by all?
I mean the 4 council members, they all spoke at that meeting. Then from there, the officers also, at the ante-room.
Mr. Witness, can we push pause for the time being and go for the first break? Mr. Chair, it's 11:30. We go now for the first break and then we return at a time determined by the chairman.
Thank you very much, Council. I hope the record keepers would help us perhaps put together a compendium of nicknames: Churo, Cheb, Punkle. Can't keep track of them at some point. We'll take a 30-minute break, come back at 12 noon. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Trrc.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps before you start, may I announce that, Mr. Chair, Mr. Ba has a lot to talk about. There are a lot of subjects he can possibly talk about. But for the purposes of not offsetting chronology, and also for the purposes of ensuring that all necessary investigations are conducted, his testimony today would be curtailed to deal only with 1994 issues. He would be called a second to talk about other issues, about other seminal events that occurred during the temporal period. So for today's hearing, we would limit it to only November 11, and the circumstances leading to his dismissal from the army and what happened to him subsequently. But the other topics that he can talk about, we would not address today.
Thank you, Council. Point is well noted. You may proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Ba, may I remind you that you're still under oath?
Yes, sir.
And thing you say should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Good. So you are telling us about the meeting at Yundum Barracks on November 10th.
Yes.
And you explained some of the statements that were the council members. Do you recall what time you left Yundum Barracks?
We left Yundum Barracks within to 5 to 6. 5 to 6.
Do you recall whether your group went to Fajara Barracks as well?
That day?
Or another day?
No. I didn't go to Fajara Barracks, and equally Babu Karjata didn't go to Fajara Barracks.
Okay. So where did you go? Conclusion of the meeting at Yundum Barracks.
From there, I went back to Banjul together with Babu Karjata.
And what happened after that?
From there, we were there for a while. Then he picked up his things. We closed for the day, and we went back home. Then he was living in Banjul. I went with him up to Banjul, and then we dropped him. Equally, I continue with the driver to the camp, where myself and the driver is living.
Who was the driver at this time?
Sergeant Ngom, Sergeant Ngom. Yeah.
And what happened for the rest of that evening?
All right. As I said, as we arrived at the camp, we were there until around 10 o'clock, 10 at night. Someone knocked at my door. When I opened, I found out that it was Ibrahim Asise and then Alaji Kani, informing me that I should prepare and get to the camp that night. When I asked
where was your residence?
At
Bahamas.
Yes.
So Alaji Kani and Ibrahim Asise
yes,
came to you and tell you that you should go to the camp.
yes.
Did they say why?
Yeah, I further asked what for. They said no, they were only instructed to inform people living in the camp to go to the camp, those living at Bahamas at the time, all of us to report at the camp. I said, well...
Ibrahim Asise, what was his rank?
He was a private soldier.
Where is he now?
Before I left, he was at the State House, so I don't know now.
At the State House, okay, good.
I said, look, I have no cause to go to 1BN this time around, especially at night. I'm no more at 1BN. I am transferred to 1 battalion, Army headquarters. So I have no cause to go to 1BN.
And what happened after that?
They said, look, it's an instruction that is given to them. I said, look, I'm not going. No, I then went inside my house, pulled out my gun. Then they all march out. I locked my door. So I was there for a while. I told the wives go to Banjulunding to inform Babu Karjata accordingly, being my commander and being his orderly.
But what were you going to inform him about?
That he should not go to the camp that night.
But why? At this stage, did you know what was happening?
Of course, yes. I know. As I told you previously, or before I left on the 8th, there are rumors of, coup plots. So obviously, I know that is what is on the making.
That you mentioned Alaji Kani.
Yes.
Was Alaji Kani part of this?
11/11.
Yes.
Yes. We are just surprised that, that morning, how he just U-turned, and then started behaving the way he was behaving. It was a surprise to everyone.
Okay, so you decided at this stage to sneak out of the camp to go to Babukar Jata at Banjul.
Yes.
So what happened after that?
So when I reached at his Babukar Jata's residence, I knocked his door. He moved the curtain to see who is actually knocking. He found out that it is me. He opened the door. He said, "Ba, what happens?" I said, "Sir, don't go to the camp. Things are not normal at the camp at this point in time. So even if you are called, don't go." He said, "I wanted to go back." He said, "Ba, no, why can't you spend the night here?" I said, "No." He said, "No, stay here." I said, "No, I'm going back. My duty is to come and inform you."
This is the commander of the army you were talking to.
Yes.
At this stage, he was a colonel, wasn't he?
Yes.
And you were a private.
Exactly.
He's orderly for that matter.
Yes.
And you wouldn't obey instructions?
Not necessarily obeying instructions, like, my duty was to, once he's in the office, I be with him in his house.
Did he say it as an order, or it was just a suggestion?
Order. It is a suggestion that I should spend the night in his house.
Would you have disobeyed if it was an order?
If it was an order, well, I would have obeyed.
So you told him this time you are not
Yes.
going to stay, you would have to go back.
Yes.
He agreed to that.
He agreed, yes.
And then what happened
And he
after
left me go as I was going, because I used the back road, PTS, if you are familiar with that ground. I used the back road to go back to the camp. As soon as I reached PTS, I saw
What is PTS?
PTS, Police Training School.
Proceed, please.
All right. As I reached there, I saw Basil Barros' car coming towards me. His car was very obvious. Everybody knows it. It was a Pajero with a flashlight on top. When I saw it at a distance, one and one together, that is, I should take cover somewhere because to avoid him seeing me at that point in time. Then I dashed down.
Why did you not want him to see you?
Because if I should, stand up until he reaches me, he would have stopped and said, "Ba, get inside." And I have no other inside.
At this stage, did you know why Basiru Baro was at the camp?
No, I don't know, because I didn't speak to him. I don't know.
What time of the day or the evening was this?
No, this was at night around, because immediately these people left my house, and this would be between 11 towards 12. 11 towards 12, yeah.
11 towards midnight.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that? You
Then
dashed down?
I dashed down, I lie down inside the grass until he come and pass me, until I cannot see the vehicle anymore. Then I get up, I start to my house. When I reach my
What
house,
does maneuvering entail?
like, you cannot just run like blindly like that. You have to take some pace and then stop and then observe whether somebody somewhere is observing at you. Then you take from there again. This is what we call maneuvering. So until I reached my house, I opened my house. I went inside, still in uniform. Okay? I took all my weapons, my webbing. I brought them at the, we have at my sitting room, we have a camp bed, a small bed, camp bed. Relax here. As soon as I lie down, I think that's where God was waiting. Thank God. That's what saved me. I slept that night. It's only God knows. As soon as 6 o'clock, my watch alarm, I started to come up.
That night, there was a lot of gunshot in the
Yes,
camp.
I understand, yes.
You slept all through?
I slept the whole night, honest to Muhammad.
You did not even wake up?
I did not wake up.
That is your story.
That's my story.
That is what you want the commission to
And
believe.
this is exactly what happens. Okay? I continue?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
proceed.
So
please.
when I wake up, I went to the bathroom, washed my face, have my teeth brush.
How did you know there was lots of gunshots that night?
Like, as soon as my house, somebody was hiding at where my wife normally cook. It's called chimney. That's where somebody was hiding there who never noticed my presence in the house. So when I opened the door, he just looked at me and saw that I am the person, he jumped up and said, "Hey, you been here?" I said, "Yes." He said, "The camp is terrible, I said, "Let's go back." He said,
Where
"No."
was your wife at this stage?
Already have evacuated my wife,
Who evacuated your wife?
myself.
At what stage did you evacuate your wife?
Well, as soon as I knew that, and that something is going to happen, I evacuated my wife.
Was this before you went to Babu Karjata?
Yes,
or
before I
after?
went to Kalyana.
What did you explain to your wife?
Well, I told her that, well, things are not right, and then the way I'm seeing things, it could be very dirty, So the best thing is go and live with your parents for the meantime. If you still hear that I'm alive, then that's it. If you still hear that I'm dead, then that's it. Yes.
And where did you get the weapon from?
I was since 21st July, 22nd July. That weapon, I still maintain that weapon.
You didn't return it to the armory?
No, because we are living in the camp, and then, we were asked to keep our rifles in our house.
Mr. Ba, you were asked to keep your rifles?
Yes, because it was revolution time, and then you need to have your weapon by your side. I was still maintaining my rifle.
That is your testimony?
Yes.
Soldiers were allowed to keep their weapons?
After
They did not-
1994, those who are living in the camp could, okay, soldiers, because some of them live in town. So obviously somebody living in town will not be able, but those living in the camp were asked to maintain their weapons.
That's your testimony?
Yes.
Okay, so you had your weapon?
So, when I told him, let's go back, he said, "I'm telling you, the camp is terrible. You are asking me to go back." I said, "Yes." He said, for him, he's not going. Then I started moving out. This was after 6 o'clock to us. So when I reached at the back gate, I met Keba Drame, who was at the point. He stopped me.
And you had your weapon at this time?
Yes. And then he halted me. I stopped. He said, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "I'm coming from my house." He said he was instructed that nobody should go in and out. I said, "It's going to happen. I have to go inside. I'm living in the camp here. If there is anything going wrong, I have all right to be there." He asked me to stop. I pushed the door and then proceed. He asked me to stop. I refused. I said, "Look, you have your weapon. Fire. If it doesn't work, I pay back." This is exactly what I said. Then I continued.
You too, you were very confident. You had your African
Course, yes,
electronics.
Well, I was confident, to be quite honest, because
You-
this
you
is
knew
either
your
life or
Afri-
death. These are the only two things. It's either life.
You knew your African electronics would work.
Well, I'm not sure yet because I didn't receive any fire yet. But I was just trying to work. I said, "Yes, you have your weapon. Shoot if you want. If it doesn't work, I pay back." And I passed him. I went. As soon as I reached the guard room, I can see Sana Sabali, it was Singate, Haidara, Lieutenant Haidara, and then Yankuba Ture. This guy, how do you call it? Sana Sabali was having a list in his hand calling names that anybody you see any of these officers, shoot them and kill them, you have no case to answer.
Which names did he call out?
Lieutenant Say, Lieutenant Lamini Dabo, Lieutenant Buba Jam, Lieutenant Elif Jamme, how do you call it? Can I go by my record? I have some.
Well, try to recollect.
Yes.
And recollect. If
As I said,
can-
Lieutenant Say,
Uh-huh.
how do you call it? Lieutenant Buba Jamme, Lieutenant Lamin Dabo, Lieutenant Ablai Ba, Achopin Chopi. Then you have Bakar Mane, Alliance, Elef Jamme. These are names that I can fully recall.
And what time was this?
This was after 7 o'clock. Because then it was not that much bright. I know that it is difficult. You will not be able to recognize exactly who the person was. But
the problem I have with that is at that stage, many of these people you have mentioned have already been arrested. Buba Jame was denied. A chopping.
yeah,
Gulaiba
it
was
could
also
be, but their
arrested.
names was on the list. It could be, but their names were pronounced.
And let me finish. Mane Nyancho was also arrested. Aliuba arrested. Why would Sana Sabali say if anybody sees them and fires at them, they have no case to answer?
Yeah, because maybe they might believe that these are the people who are the ringleaders.
But why would he say that if these people were already in custody? In his own custody? Why would he say that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I didn't know at the time whether, but these names were on the list and he was pronouncing names. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Then we were there for a while. After 7 o'clock, towards 8, they ordered for Fafanyan to be removed from the cell.
At this stage, did you see any vehicles
Okay.
parked,
Yeah.
parked
Right,
anywhere around that?
Yes, I saw a vehicle around the guard room and
Type of a vehicle?
a truck, military truck. And then equally Sana was saying that, look at them. They want to be presidents. They want to be president. You can see them in the truck.
Who was he referring to? Do you know?
It's Baro, Basiru, and then Dotfal. Already soldiers were climbing or peeping. I had the preview to go and climb and then peep. I saw them, they are all lying down, motionless, they are dead. Okay? But, Edward asked Kanye to go and bring Fafanyang. So he was coming with Fafanyang, pushing him, asking him to run until at the ante-room at the courthouse, they asked him to run for his life, for Fafanyang to run for his life. Hands were tied behind, with pants. As he was running, looking behind, then Edwards first fired at him. He fell down. He wanted to get up again. Somebody by his side, which I later realized that it was Lamin Koli, also finished him.
Let's take it a bit slowly. Where were you at this stage?
I was standing at the ante-room.
You were seeing things clearly.
Yes.
Koli, how far was him away from Mr. Nyang, Fafa Nyang?
Look, this was a group round. He was asked to run for his life. Everybody was behind him. We are all behind him. Okay? Edu fired first, followed by...
Sorry, excuse me. Where was Edu standing? Use this space to tell us who was standing where.
Ante-room. Okay? There is a pathway, there is a road that leads to cookhouse. It was just standing right in front of the office door. And then the rest of us were all behind him in group. So he had to run for his life. So on that pathway towards the cookhouse.
Which direction? That direction or towards my direction?
No, this direction. because the anteroom is on your left, and then the cookhouse is on the right. So there's a pavement between the cookhouse and the anteroom. So that's the road he's to take and then run for his life. That's where it was shot him, and then.
I understand how you explain the geography. I want you to use this space and explain the positions, such that we will have a good understanding of what happened.
Okay.
The way you've just did is like Fafanyang was shot whilst he was running behind you where you were standing.
No, he was running in front of us.
Can you use this space to show who was standing where?
Okay, like this table, okay? Like we are all standing at this table here, facing you. Fafanyang was asked to run for his life.
Towards which direction?
Towards your direction. Okay? So as he stepped off, he was in the form of a run, but not that much, because somebody who is an study, you cannot have the strength to run that far. So I was running, looking behind. A shot came from Edu.
Who is Edu?
Edward Singate.
What was his rank at this?
Lieutenant Edward Singate.
Okay.
Yeah, a shot came from Lieutenant Singate. Pow! He fell down. He got up. Koli also shot.
Was Koli?
He was standing there
amongst your group?
Yes.
Did he make a move towards Fafanyang?
If it will be a move, maybe a standing position or a firing position, but not like run towards him, no. If he might take position, thereby you have to shoot your left foot forward to have at least a balance of your weight.
Did you see him aim his weapon at Fafanyang?
No, I didn't see him. After the shot, when once a weapon is fired, smoke comes out. So that smoke, where it caught the shot, is weapon that was fired.
In order to make that shot, what did he have to do? As a soldier, can you tell us what Koli had to do in order to make that shot? What are the steps he must take in order to make that shot?
To send your left foot forward, to balance yourself, and then take an aim, and then shot.
So he must have taken a shooting position.
Exactly, a standing, not squatting down, standing position.
And then you
fire.
Said he aimed his
Of course,
weapon.
it was an aim shot.
Pulled the trigger.
Yes.
And that would be a deliberate shot.
Of course, yes. It was a deliberate one.
Intentionally to kill.
Yes.
That's your testimony.
That's my testimony.
What do you say to the suggestion that the shot coming out of Koli's weapon was accidental?
No, I deny that. I definitely deny it.
Do you deny that?
Because if it is an accidental shot, he would not have hit his target. He would not have hit his target. There are procedures in fire. You must have to look the foresight blade, okay, to the front tip of the front side blade to the target. You have to inline these things in order to hit your weapon. AK-47 is not just like any other weapon. By looking at you, I'm somebody who is a marksman. I can just, rapid fire. That one does not need that much aim. You just point your muzzle where the target is, and then you spray. Then along the line, because when you burst, 5 rounds will go at the same time. Without releasing it, it will continue firing. So in that, I would say, but if not, you have to aim your target and hit your target, then you get it. You can't say it's accident. That is not an accident.
The evidence, one of the testimony we received here is Koli was running towards Fafanyang in order to help save him because he was shot.
If you look at the...
let me finish.
Okay.
He had his gun slung over his shoulder, and as he was running, there was accidental discharge, and it hit Fafanyang on the jaw. What do you say to that?
That is totally wrong.
Is that possible?
No, that is not possible. Because a weapon that is sling, all right, if there is an negligent discharge, then we call it, then you either wound yourself or the shot will land somewhere very close to you. But it cannot travel and go and hit somebody. That is not possible. It's not possible. No.
If I were to tell you that the chest strike come from Koli, what would you say to that?
No, Koli is just trying to build a cover-up. But if I was him, I would have said I shoot him. If I was him in his shoe.
Essentially, you're saying he lied
Of course, yes.
to cover himself
Of course, yes.
from responsibility.
I am telling you, I would have said, yes, I killed him. Yes. I said an accident discharge. That is not true story.
So you, Emelba, standing there on that day of November 11, you knew that Koli fit Fafanyang deliberately.
Yeah.
That's your testimony.
That's my testimony.
Under oath.
Under oath.
What happened after that?
And from there, things started unfolding again. All right. So from there, I moved towards the garden. Then I saw Babu Karjata walk into the camp. How he came, I don't know. So when he arrived, I went and approached him and said, "Sir, good morning, sir." He said, "Yes." I said, "Sir, last night your driver was overcome. That is Ngom, Sergeant Ngom. That he said I should go and make arrangement for his release." And I went to the guard room. I met many soldiers there. I spoke to this guy, how do you call it, Buba Jame. He was the duty provost then, that night.
Which Buba Jame are you referring?
All right. So I told Kalila that, look, Army commander said you should release this Babu Karangom, his driver is not part of it. Then he requested the chief from Bach, then he opened the cell.
Which batch are you referring to?
Samba Jallo. Then he called his name from the lot and then he came out. I asked him to go and dress up in his house and then bring the Babu Karjata's car along.
And what happened after that?
As soon as he left, we were there for a while, briefed again towards Banjul. Later they came back. This will be around in the afternoon, 12 upwards. When they came also, there was an arrangement for a vehicle brought in front of the garden, parked in front of the garden, and then these names were called, as I mentioned it earlier on. The cell was opened, Lieutenant Say was called, and then followed by Mane, Lamin Dabo, Ablai Bah. Yeah.
Let's get the names again properly.
Yeah.
Jibril Say you said.
Yes.
Followed by who else?
Buwajame, Lamin Dabo, Suso.
Lamin Dabo.
Yes. Then
Lamin Dabo, does he have a nickname?
Lamin Dabo.
Yes.
Yes, he has a nickname.
What was the nickname?
Suso.
Suso.
Yeah, we are all from the same village. He's from Breng, I'm from Breng.
Okay.
It's called Suso.
Chopping.
Then you have, who else? OCDT Kedek Silla, Amadou Silla.
Cadet Silla, yes.
Yes.
And who else?
These five, I can remember seeing them boarding the vehicle.
What happened after that?
Then as soon as they boarded the vehicle, to my surprise this time around, I should have gone with Babu Karjata, but sorry, something happens before they depart. As I said, as soon as Babu Karjata, his driver, he asked me to go and negotiate his release. When he was released, I came back to him. You know what he told me? He said, "Ba, ya merita fong data into bang."
What does that mean?
He said, "Bye, do you think you are not also part of these people?" I said, "Sir, what do you mean?" He said, "The coolie from there." I said, "Sir, but if I'm part of it, then you are also part of it." He said, "But why do you say that?" I said, "I'm working directly under you." So, you know, we are not far from council members. Sana Sabali had to look back and then see us. Maybe he don't know the role I played in 1994, but Sana knew what I did. So, the mere fact that saying that Koyamere ite data in Tobam, and I also responded with that, you know, maybe it does not go down well with him. This was why when they were leaving to me, it was a surprise to me. But it does not matter. To myself, to me, I'm trying to save my own life in this case. You are seeing people, they are taking people out. You don't know where they are taking them. And you are also telling me that I am part of them. Which I also reply that if I am part of it, you are also part of it.
We have received testimony
Yeah.
that in the morning, while people were watching or going to look at the bodies that were in the truck, somebody went up the truck, but Fal was not completely dead. He finished him off.
Finish him up in the truck?
While Dotfal's body was in the truck.
No, the time I'm seeing Dotfal, he was completely dead.
The time you saw him, he was completely dead.
Yes.
So you did not know having to climb him.
No.
Okay, good. So you had this altercation or this conversation with Babukar Jata.
Yes.
And he left.
Yes.
Without you.
Yes.
His orderly.
Yes.
You remained behind.
Yes.
What happened afterwards? You said the afternoon.
Yes, when they came back in the afternoon.
Did you see them when they returned? I want to know who returned.
Yes, I saw them. The council member, they all came back, including Babukar Jata himself.
You said, quote, council members.
Yes.
They all came back, including Babukar. That is exactly what you said.
Yes, yes.
Tell us which council members you saw.
Lieutenant Sana Sabali, Lieutenant Edward Singate, Lieutenant Haidara, and then Yankuba Ture, including Babukar Jata. Yes.
Sorry, you saw all of them?
Yes.
Any other senior military officers present there who were not members of the council?
If there is any, it is Babukar Jata. If there is any, at that point in time, it's Babukar Jata.
He is the only one you can recall?
I can recall, yes, I can remember.
Do you know a person?
Oh, yeah. So, he's all along with his brother.
Could you say that again?
What I'm saying, Peter is always with his brother, Edward Singate. They are always together. Always.
That may be the case, but was he present
Yes,
on
he
this
was
particular
present.
day?
I just forgot to mention his name. He is present. He was present.
Now let's talk about their entourage, the members of the entourage who were present.
Yeah.
Tell us who?
As I said, Lieutenant Sana Sabali, Lieutenant Edward Singate.
You've mentioned who were present. You said all of them,
Yeah.
and you listed them.
Okay.
Among senior officers, you mentioned one, and you confirmed another.
Yes.
That was
Peter Singate.
Singate
Yes.
and Jata.
Yes.
So now let's talk about their entourage,
Okay.
their orderlies.
Always, Jason is there, Bach Samba Jallo is there, Njai Ponkal is there, what I mean, Diche Babukar Njai, Ibi Njai, you know, they were all there. And this Churo, Mustafa also is there. Yes. So
For Yankuba Ture, who was there?
for Yankuba Ture, I think I forgot. Unless I go through my, because I also prepare some
Yes, I want you to testify without looking
Okay.
at it. It's not a memory test, but
Yeah. So far, I think these are people that I've seen.
you mentioned Mendy.
Esa Mendy, yes, he's an oddly to Yankuba Toure.
But was he present or was he not?
Of course, he was present.
You mentioned Njai Dichep, Njai Ponkal.
Yes.
We received testimony that he wasn't there on the second trip because he was allowed to go home. What do you say to that?
No, I dispute to that. I dispute to that.
Okay, you can't say anything about that. Okay, so you saw all these people there.
Yes.
And what happened that after?
Came back, in a convoy form. The convoy went, guard room, turn, left, up to the anteroom. Vehicles were parked, and then the Land Rover was driven between the anteroom and the cookhouse. That's where the Land Rover was parked. The way and the man, you can see his escort. Can simply tell you that something, serious have gone on.
Let's take a step back. Before this statement you've just made, people were called out of the guard room and they were put in this Land Rover. They left. Do you know to which direction they headed?
Yeah, you can see the convoy taking Brikama Highway towards.
All the council members went with this convoy, yes. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Abukar Jata, did he go with the convoy?
Yes, he go with them.
This time round, he again left you behind?
Yes.
Did he see you?
Huh?
Did he see you?
Circumstances. He was his official car. But this time around, he don't go with his official car. He joined the council member's car and then left with them. And he left me there.
When they were leaving, did you know where they were going?
No, I don't know where they were going. I don't know. Because there is nothing.
You mentioned that it was Buba Jame Kanilai and Bach who opened the cell and allowed Jangom to be released.
Ngom,
excuse me, to be released. What lie and
Oh, nothing happens to them.
did they remain in the camp?
No.
Or did they go with the convoy?
No, they went with the convoy.
Tell me who went with the convoy.
I can see Buba Jame was in front of the Land Rover. The driver, I cannot remember now, Land Rover, leaving.
So it is your testimony that Buba Jame, a.k.a. Kanilai,
yes,
was in the front of the Land Rover.
Yes.
And Alaji Kanyi
was behind the Land Rover.
Behind the back of the Land Rover.
Yes.
That's your testimony?
Yes, that's my testimony.
And they came back?
Yes.
How long did it take for them to return?
Maybe approximately 2 hours. 2 hours, maybe.
So let's say around 4, considering they returned.
Yeah.
Around 1, after 1.
Because we left the camp, it was 5, heading to office, yes, around that time.
So they returned around 4?
Something like that.
And you said they drove in a convoy and went and parked around the
So, as I said, the Land Rover was parked between the cookhouse and the anteroom. So, how do you call it? I didn't go to the Land Rover to see what is happening there, but I can see, you can see leaves were put on top of them. And also, because Samuel Jose is a very tall guy, you can see legs, yeah.
What happened after that?
The anteroom, they went up to around the fence, after the cookhouse, around the fence, where we normally have a big soccer way. They went up to that area. To my own, understanding that they might map out and, soccer way. They stood there for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then they came back. And as soon as they came back, you see a group of soldiers around that end. I was at anteroom, but still I can see them. I see a group of soldiers with that soccer way. That's where their remains were buried. But according to testimonies I'm hearing, that they were, they dug, grave for them to be buried. Or exactly where I thought it could have been there. But the environment was totally changed to me, and then because I found something there that I did not left there before. That was a trench that was dug exactly where the soccer way is.
What happened to the bodies?
Well, I'm quite sure they might be buried.
Did you see the burial?
No, I did not see the burial. I did not witness the burial.
But can you tell those who were involved in the burial?
Kanye was just like a crazy guy, You cannot predict the type of person he was. He was all alone there at the burial ground, because I can see he's a tall guy. Wherever he is, you can be able to spot him among the lot. I know he was there, and the Buba Jame, but the rest, probably the...
Which Buba Jame are you referring to? Was there?
Of course, yes.
Apart from, you talked about seeing the bodies of Dotfal and Barrow.
Yeah.
You talked about the killing of Fafanyang.
Yeah.
You also talked about the removal of certain officers from the guard. They came back with dead bodies 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Did you see any other killing in Yundum barracks that day?
Yes. I did not see it eye to eye, but I heard gunshot, and I am quite sure he must have been killed. That is Basiru Kamara. While others are busy digging there, we are going to the guard room. When we meet along with Alaji Kani, equally with Edward Singate, coming towards the anteroom, towards the cookhouse, when until around cookhouse end, I had multiple shots. I presume that he was killed. And I didn't see him. Since then, I didn't see him again.
Do you know who fired the...
Well, if you may ask me, I would say is Edward and this guy, how to call it, Alaji Kani. That's what I believe.
That is just a belief?
That's a belief, yes.
But you do not have first-hand information about it?
No, I don't have first-hand to see actually who shot or no. But these two guys shot. Pow, pow. So obviously speaking, this is 2 people who fired.
And do you know what happened? Well, you did not see that body, so you would not know.
No, I did not see that body.
All right. And that day...
very late, after 5 to 6, after 5 anyway, went back to this
Did
place.
you leave alone?
No, I live together with Babu Karjata this time around, with his officer car, including his driver. As soon as we take off the camp, we are going, he had to, remind me again, saying, Ba, fonga men for yaman diye bang. As we are going back to Banyu, he told me, Ba, what I told you, didn't you not like it? He said it was a joke. I said, sir, that is too expensive. That joke is too expensive. You are seeing they are taking people out, going to the out of. Look, I'm also somebody's son. If you feel like you don't trust me anymore by your side, it's better you return me back where you took me. It's better than, you want to auction my life like this. Since then, our relationship was so, with our he feared me in those days, to be quite honest, because I was never happy with him. I worked under him for 2 good years without being promoted. A private soldier working with an army commander. Is that normal? He didn't promote me. And he even tell me that, I'm promote la. If you want, you promote. If you don't want, you leave it. You see, maybe now, but ask my fellow colleague, in those days, I have my face is very, very, terrible. Because I have loose stars which are very long, sometimes I roll.
You are fearful.
Oh, let me call it, that's what even saved me. That's what even saved me. Because I don't laugh that much. I'm always somebody who is business-like, okay? And since then, Babukar, I don't even ask for permission. I don't even I told him that if you feel like you are not, you don't trust me anymore, it's better you get me back where you pick me from.
Did you ask to be transferred?
Yes, I asked him for a transfer. He said, okay, I will look into it. But that's where I was until after the transition period, till 19.
You said 1995, but
no,
your testimony is 1996.
During the transition period, 2 years I can remember that. Yeah.
So what happened after 1996, after the transition?
After the transition, I went back to after Babukar Jada, when Babukar Jada relieved me, later changed me as an orderly to Babukar Jada, I went back to military police, because then I was in the military police already. I went back to the military police, that's where I was until 2001. I went for the Special Force Commando training.
We wouldn't go into let's just fast forward to the period the period in which you were removed from the army.
Okay.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yes,
what led to your removal from the army?
I was in the military police until 2008. As the duty Saturday, I received a call, an informant who informed me that there are people around Trrc, selling drugs. All right. And I even asked him, how do you know this number? It was not a direct office. Right? So when he called, I said, who are you? He introduced himself as Mamadi Dabo, all right, a civilian. I told him, how do you come to know about this transaction? He said he was involved in a translation from Arabic to his who spoke to buy drug from somebody else. And in fact, he knows where they should meet, in order to go ahead with their deal. I said, but I don't know you. I would like to see you in person before going to anything. He said, okay, if you can come up to Senegambia, at the roundabout, he told me you'll find me there. But with all that, this information were booked in my diary, because in the military police, all our activities are booked in the diary. I booked the information that I received. I am going to the ground to effect arrest with one of my colleagues, who was my junior man.
At this stage, you were aware that you were military police, correct?
Yes, yes.
And your role was to police the army. Your role was not to carry on as a civilian policeman.
No, see, we normally have that collaboration with the police.
Yes, that is collaboration.
Yes, and
but at
normally,
this stage, you were not collaborating with the police. You were going on a unilateral action. And at this stage, there was also a drug enforcement agency.
Yes.
There was also police stations around Trrc area.
Yes.
You did not report to the drug squad, did you?
No, I did not.
You did not report to the police station, did you? To deal with this matter. And it was out of your jurisdiction. It was not part of your normal responsibilities as military police to participate in this activity.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us what happened afterwards.
So, like, what I was intending to do was, after effecting arrest, I take them to the nearest police station, whereby they'll be charged according to the law, and then...
You putting the cart before the horse.
No, I said...
You should have reported to the police and let the police effect the arrest.
No.
Go to the police.
See, you see...
But just proceed. Tell us what you did.
Exactly. What I'm trying to say here is, normally during... Sometimes when you're on patrol, sometimes we arrest people, we take them to the nearest police
That
station.
is flagrant delicto. That is different. That is when you are in the crime. But in this particular occasion, that was not the case.
Okay.
A report had been made.
And also, we can be called upon, to assist, all right?
Yes, but on this occasion, you are not assisting. On this occasion, you are making the arrest.
Okay.
But let's not argue over what should have or could have.
Yeah.
Let's focus on what you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, when I came with my colleague up to the roundabout, we stopped, because alongside the road, he came out. He introduced himself that I am Mamadi Dabo, I was the one talking to you. I said, okay, but how do you come to know about it? He said he was involved in a translation. That's how he come to know about this deal. And I told him, so that if I to finish it, if I turn on my right, I will see the compound directly. I said, okay. So I told him to go home. So long you have informed us now, you can leave. I went with my colleague, the car, coming down. They can see, because it is transparent. It is, glasses are all over. They saw our presence. So they decided to open the other gate, the back door, and then they jumped over the fence and they started running. So we also followed them. Back to the Indum camp. As I arrived also, I booked my arrival that I went after the, to effect arrest, but unfortunately we could not arrest anyone. Okay? While I was there around 6 a.m. to 7, Alaji Kamara.
Babu Karba, which security outfit did he belong to?
At the time, he was the one holding on the office, military police office, while our PM, Kulutemane, was. So Borakoli.
What outfit did he belong to?
Borakoli is among the junglers.
Where is he at the moment?
So he's not in the country.
How about the first person you mentioned?
Alaji Kamara used to be. He had
3 of them.
3 of them. And it's only Alaji Kamara who was not an officer at the time. Babu Karel, he was a Lieutenant Babu Karel. And then you have Captain Borakoli. So they told me, I said, but what happens? They said, no, it's an instruction. I said, look, you have to tell me what have I done wrong before I'm arrested. So, I insisted, they furthermore tell me that, look, say, I said, well, I don't know where you get your information, but the information I have is different. I opened the diary for them to see what is. They said they are not interested in the diary. It's an order given to them, and they have to arrest me. So, and give them the pistol. I can see they were sniffing the pistol to see whether it has been fired. And subsequently, I give them the magazine too. They open the magazine, they remove the rounds, count the number of rounds was 8. The number of rounds that I signed. So I had them saying that, but Nimman fire. I said, what are you saying? He said, the information they have is I shot the complainant on his leg and he's receiving treatment at the intensive care unit at RVH. So nonetheless, I said, okay, so long that's the issue, I will accept the arrest. I went inside the cell with my colleague, Bala Musa Sidi. So we are there. That was on Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the morning. And asked the MP to open the cell. When he opened the cell, we were, asked to come out. Lantombon said, that's the first time I even hear the name of the complainant. That is Nalma Mamudu Sisela Kodobon, the Mbala Sambala Mile 2. Which I feel was, not proper, because here you are talking about senior NCOs who have served the law more than 20 years in service. If you hear something about them, you come up to the, listen to their side of the story. But nonetheless, he did not do that. He just came out to issue threat. That's how he left us. He went back. We were detained for a 6-month period.
Where were you detained?
For 6 months. I would call it no report that, there were reports, but they were contradicting each other. But there was a report that came from Fajara Barracks, which was written by Lamin that, I sued the complainant on his leg. He's receiving treatment at the intensive care unit at RVH. And also I took 11,500 euros, including 5,000 Gambian money. It was 6,500 euro involved in the transaction, and I have never fired my pistol, So they were contradicting each other.
So what happened eventually?
So this report was sent to senior NCOs, non-commissioned officers. There was a meeting that was convened by the Chief of Defense Staff then, Lantom Montamba, a staff meeting to ask as to how to go about with the problem. When he was called, they gave him both reports. He went through the report. He said the reports are contradicting. He wrote another letter to the military police saying that the matter needs to be reinvestigated. And so when that letter came in, I had a preview to see the letter, of course. Then Kulutamane came back from his coast. When we arrived at his office, he said, since his arrival, he could not invest. Lantombo Tamba was threatening him that if he should involve himself in that case, he's going to lose his rank, according to him. And when he was saying it, I was not alone. I was there together with my co-accused person. He said, now that the same headquarters have written to him, he's going to come up with a tangible report. Then we told him that, okay, our minds are at rest now, so long you are asked to reinvestigate. Because he knew us, we have been working with him for quite a long time. We open his statements, and we also give a statement. That investigation is not even completed yet. One fine day, after working hours, which is unusual, after working hours, Mamatar Seka that we are going to appear on orders. So when RSM approached me and told me, I said, but sir, what is going on? This is working hour after working hours. How can you carry an orders after working hours? He said, look, he was only there to inform me that let me prepare. Musa Sisi. So we prepared, we put on our uniform, and then we went to Kulutomane's office. He was the OC military police at the time. He read the charges to us that, scandalous misconduct, From his office, we went to Camp Commandant's office. You know, Camp Commandant also read the same text to us that, you know, we are charged, you know, scandalous misconduct. The funny thing is we are not even allowed to explain our side of the story. He said he was called by Lantombon Tamba that I should be dismissed from the army, handed over to the police for prosecution. I said, sir, we have procedures in the army. If I offended, let's follow those rules. I'm not working for Lantombon. So how can he said, I proved to be stubborn, but I don't know what is ahead of me. I said, okay. He said he dismissed us, handed from his office to a waiting car, straight to police headquarters. This was in the evening, around the 7 towards 8 in the evening. So it was very unusual for the police to receive such a caliber of people without being informed. They said they are not going to accept us. I assured the duty officer that, look, we are law-abiding citizens. You cannot put us inside the cell. He said, yes, it's all right. You can be behind the counter until daybreak. Then your superiors will have been in the office. And he also did exactly what I told him. He kept us behind the counter. We were there until the following morning. When Jesus then, when he came, he started asking us what happens. We said, well, we don't know. He said, your dismissal is, I cannot understand the way you guys are dismissed. He said, but just take it in good faith, as man, whatever comes to your way. We obtained statements, we are charged, we spent 3 days, the 4th day we were paraded before the High Court. That's where I even come to see my informant. He was also arrested alongside with 2 others who came to be Manka Mansani, and then charged alongside conspiracy and robbery with violence. We were denied bail because they said it's unbailable. So we had to get to my 2. We were reminded, and also we are told at that point in time, what lawyers are charging, my brother, I cannot afford it. 150,000, where would I get that? So thank God I secured a lawyer, a service of a lawyer, Barrister Boriture. We remained in prison for 4 years, 6 months, 10 days on trial until on the November 6th, 2012, we were acquitted and discharged from. So I went together with my co-accused person to meet our lawyer. We instructed him to write to the army for our reinstatement.
5 of you were charged?
Yes.
Who was your co-accused you're referring to?
Yeah, Bala Musa. We are all military police personnel.
First, last name?
So we instructed for our reinstatement because, according to the allegations, it's not true. The lawyer also wrote to the army for our reinstatement. And then he also got a reply from the army that
you have the necessary documentation,
yes,
your order of acquittal, the judgment order of acquittal,
yes,
and this letter you're talking about.
Yes, I have them.
Could you produce them to the commission, please?
Yes, please.
I understand you made copies.
Yes.
Send both. Would you kindly pass the judgment and the letter of Boriture from Crown Chambers written to Defense Headquarters? Mr. Chair, we would request that the judgment of the High Court by Justice judgment dated 6 November 2012 be added in the record as Exhibit 30. Should that be accepted as Exhibit 30? 2012 be also included in the record as Exhibit 31.
Request granted, Counsel.
May I also ask that the Commission accepts the photocopies? Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Witness, your lawyer wrote to the Army.
Yes.
And what did the Army say?
As I said, when I received the letter from, I went to the lawyer. When he gave me the letter, I went through it. I feel very uncomfortable to stay here. I decided to go on exile. I went to Dakar. I was in Senegal.
The letter written by the Army to Crown Chambers, informing them of their position on the request for reinstatement. The last paragraph, the penultimate paragraph states as follows. Motivated by revelations in our investigations, which were cogent, consistent, compelling, and lead to an irresistible conclusion that the accused persons extorted money from the complainant. Please find attached a copy of the investigation. Note that it is the right to try them in court-martial. Paragraph 5. I hope this letter will awaken their senses to allow sleeping dogs lie. Signed, for Chief of Defense Staff. It's quite extraordinary that a person's been acquitted and discharged, and the Army still think that they could try the person on the same charges under court. Potential court-martial. If you do not let sleeping dogs lie, what did you do after that?
See, how can I allow the sleeping dog like throughout my youthful age, I served in the Army for 20 years. And you just want that to go like that? And this is the place I know. Look, up till now, my 20 years is in the air like that. No benefit.
What did you do after receipt of this letter?
Yeah, I fled. I went to Senegal, in Dakar. Maybe these people. I know the type of people I'm dealing with.
What type of people were you dealing with?
They're just crazy people, monsters, who are bloodthirsty, Yeah.
Those are the kind of people that were in the Army? That's what you suggest?
In place at that time. All right? And maybe in my other appearance, you would start to know what I'm trying to tell you. All right? So the mere fact that, you see, you can see, why are they refusing? Now,
reinstated?
As soon as the impasse, after the impasse, he was reinstated back in the Army, and he's working. So,
did you make an appeal to be reinstated?
Yes, I went to the headquarters many times. What I but then,
do you know how your co-accused came to be reinstated?
When I asked, they said it is an executive order from President Barrow that he should be in the Army, because during the impasse, they are the people with the president. Why? What have I done? what is the difference between, sorry, what is the difference between me and him? We are all accused of the same offense. So even when I was, in Senegal, do they know what part do I play?
Go to do in Senegal? Why did you have to go to Senegal?
No, like I went to Senegal in order in order to add my voice, to what is happening back home, and I was definitely doing that.
You were afraid that you would be caught. So you returned after the impasse?
After the election, yes.
After the election?
Yes.
And you tried to be reinstated?
Yes.
And you did not succeed?
I did not succeed.
And you think that is unfair?
It's unfair. It's unfair. A reason that is, genuine enough, at least, or give me my benefit, I go.
Mr. Ba, I have no further questions for you. I give you another rendezvous sometime in the future.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, the witness.
Thank you very much, Chairman Council. Thank you, Mr. Ba, for your testimony. Commissioners, do you have any questions to put to Mr. Ba? We would end the consumer proceedings, and I believe we would come tomorrow morning, unless you have something else lined up for the afternoon. Do you?
This afternoon, the chair has a meeting, an important meeting outside the offices of the Commission, so there won't be any here.
That was going to be exposed for the cancellation of the meeting. It is with the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, and it concerns some...
the chair said it, not cancelled.
Well, you exposed me. So there wouldn't be any meeting this afternoon. We would come back here tomorrow morning.